March 1945, near Frankfurt, Germany. Robert Hayes checked papers at a roadside checkpoint. The war had moved fast that month. Patton's Third Army covered nearly 100 miles in 10 days. Columns of infantry passed through every hour. Mud covered everything. Boots, rifles, faces. Nothing stood out. Until one man did. A private stepped forward with the others. His uniform was standard issue. His weapon was clean, but something hung from his chest. A black and silver iron cross rested against olive drab wool, not tucked away, not hidden, worn openly, like it belonged there. Hayes didn't speak at first. He reached out and lifted the medal between two fingers. The ribbon was still stiff, the metal still scratched. "Where did you get this?" The private didn't answer. He looked past Hayes, toward the road. The line behind him stopped moving. Two more MPs stepped closer. One of them took the soldier's rifle. No one else spoke. Traffic backed up for 200 yards. Engines idled. Boots shifted in the mud. Every man watched. Hayes closed his hand around the medal. Then he gave one order. Hold him. Within 20 minutes, the report moved up the line. By nightfall, it reached headquarters. This is what Patton did. Before we continue, make sure you subscribe. We tell the stories about World War II that force you to question discipline. Honor and the Cost of Victory. Robert Hayes, Chicago, 31. He'd been a military police corporal for 18 months. He'd seen looters shot, prisoners searched, officers lie about orders, but he'd never seen this. He stood at kilometer marker 12, 5 miles east of Frankfurt. The checkpoint processed 300 men an hour, sometimes more. Papers checked, weapons cleared, movement controlled. That morning, March 18th, 1945, looked like every other. Rain stopped at 0700. Mud stayed. Columns of the 5th Infantry Division moved west to east. Hayes followed routine. Step forward, show papers, move on, no exceptions. Then the medal appeared. The iron cross hung outside the tunic, not inside. Second class, black core, silver frame. The ribbon passed clean through the buttonhole. No damage, no blood, no attempt to hide it. Hayes lifted it again. The metal caught grey light. He turned it once. Slow. "Where did you get this?" "Off a Kraut officer." The private didn't blink. His hands stayed at his sides. He didn't reach for the medal. Name. Private First Class, Daniel Mercer. Unit, Company B, 2nd Battalion. Mercer stood still. Rainwater ran off his helmet. He didn't look down. Hayes had seen trophies before. Lugers, helmets, knives taken from belts. All of it supposed to be declared, but never worn. Not like this. Not during inspection. Not in full view of 40 men waiting behind him. Hayes stepped back. He looked at the line, then back at Mercer. "Remove it." "No." The word stayed in the air. No one moved. Hayes didn't raise his voice. He nodded once to the MP on the left. "Take his weapon." The rifle came off Mercer's shoulder. The sling dragged through mud. Mercer didn't resist. "You're coming with me." Hayes turned first. Mercer followed 2 steps behind. The medal stayed where it was. They walked 60 yards to a canvas tent near the road. Inside, a field desk, a radio, 2 chairs. Hayes wrote the time. 0935 hours. He wrote the name, the unit, the object. He underlined one line twice. Enemy decoration worn on U.S. uniform. He stopped writing, looked at the medal again, then closed the notebook. He knew the regulation. General Order, number 26. 1944. Unauthorized enemy property. Confiscate. Report. Process. But this wasn't just property. This was a statement, and statements travelled. Hayes stood. Walked to the radio operator. "Get me Lieutenant Carter." The operator turned the dial. Static filled the tent. Then a voice answered. Hayes didn't look at Mercer. He kept his eyes on the table. "Sir, you need to see this." He paused, looked once more at the Iron Cross. "He's wearing it." The line went quiet for 2 seconds. Then the answer came back. "Bring him in." Hayes closed the radio set, picked up his notebook, then gestured towards the door. "Move." Mercer stepped outside. The medal swung once against his chest. Hayes followed. He didn't know yet how far this would go, but he knew one thing. This wouldn't stay at a checkpoint. Thomas Carter, Boston, 27. He'd been an infantry lieutenant for 14 months. He'd seen hedgerow fighting, artillery misfires, friendly fire at night, but he'd never seen this. The tent flap opened at 1005 hours. Hayes stepped in first. Mercer followed. The medal caught light again. Carter didn't sit. He walked around the desk once, then stopped in front of Mercer. "Take it off." "No." Carter looked at Hayes, then back at Mercer. His hand hovered near the medal. "You understand regulations." "I understand I earned it." Carter's fingers stopped mid-air. He didn't touch the ribbon. He stepped back. "Earned it how?" "He came at me with a pistol. I took him down." Mercer didn't move. Mud dried along his boots. The medal stayed centered. Carter exhaled once. He turned to Hayes, then back again. "You don't wear enemy decorations." "I do now." The words didn't rise. They landed flat. Carter said nothing for 2 seconds. "Remove it, or I will." Mercer didn't reach for it. His hand stayed still. He stared straight ahead. Carter walked to the desk, picked up a field manual, flipped pages without reading. "This isn't a suggestion. It's mine." Carter closed the book, set it down harder than needed. He looked at Hayes. "Get Captain Reynolds." Hayes nodded once. Carter didn't look back at Mercer. Carter walked out, went straight to Captain Reynolds. James Reynolds, Philadelphia, 34. He'd been a company commander for 22 months. He'd seen officers break, men desert, positions collapse under pressure, but he'd never seen this. Reynolds entered at 10:32 hours. He didn't remove his gloves. He looked at the medal first. "You're holding up 300 men." Mercer didn't answer. He stood where Carter left him. The tent felt smaller. Reynolds stepped closer, close enough to read the cross. He didn't touch it. "Where exactly did you get that?" "Outside Darmstadt. 2 days ago." Reynolds nodded once. He glanced at Hayes' notebook, then back at Mercer. "You filed no report." "No." "You declared nothing." "No." Reynolds took off one glove, folded it once, placed it on the desk. "So you killed an officer." Took his medal and chose to wear it. "Yes." Reynolds leaned back half an inch. His jaw tightened. He didn't raise his voice. "Why?" "Because he'd lost." The sentence sat there. No one moved. Carter shifted his weight. Reynolds looked at Hayes, then at Carter, then back at Mercer. "This isn't a trophy. This is a symbol." "It's both." Reynolds exhaled through his nose. He paced once across the tent, stopped near the radio. "You're out of line." "Private." Mercer didn't answer. The medal tapped once against his chest. Silence held. Reynolds turned back. He pointed at the ribbon. "Last chance." "Remove it." "No." Reynolds didn't move for 3 seconds. Then he nodded once. "Decision made." "Fine." He picked up Hayes's notebook, added one line beneath the report. refusal to comply with direct order. He tore the page out, folded it once, handed it to Carter. Send it to battalion. Now. Carter took the paper. His fingers held it tight. He stepped outside. Reynolds looked at Mercer again, then at Hayes. Keep him here. Mercer stayed where he was. Reynolds turned toward the door. Temporary holding. Full report. By 1400 hours, the document reached battalion command. William Harding, Cleveland, 42. He'd been a regimental commander for 3 years. He'd seen men decorated, courts-martialed, executed for desertion, but he'd never seen this. The report arrived at 1815 hours. 3 pages, 1 photograph, the medal centered in frame. Harding read it once. Then again, he didn't sit. He called for Mercer at 1900 hours. The private entered under guard, the medal still visible. Harding walked around him once, boots echoing on wood. No one spoke. You refused 2 direct orders. Yes, sir. Harding stopped in front of him. He looked at the cross, then at Mercer's eyes. Why keep it on? Because I took it. Harding nodded once. He folded his hands behind his back. He didn't raise his voice. You understand what this looks like? Yes. Sir. Harding stepped away. He looked at the window. Dark outside. This goes 2 ways. He turned back. Eyes fixed. Measured. I charge you. Court-martial. Make an example. He paused. 1 step closer. Lower voice. Or I ignore it. Let every man think. Rules don't matter. Mercer didn't answer. He stood still. The room stayed silent. Harding walked to the desk. He picked up the photograph, looked at it longer this time. Then he placed it down, flattened it with his palm. Decision not made. This isn't mine to settle. He reached for a fresh sheet. Wrote for 90 seconds. Signed at the bottom. Send this to Army Headquarters. The aide took the envelope, held it with both hands. Didn't speak. Harding looked once more at the medal. Then at Mercer. Until then, you wear nothing. Mercer didn't move. The guard stepped forward. The ribbon came off. The iron cross rested on the desk. Black. Silver. Still. By the next morning, it was sitting on Patton's desk. The report reached headquarters at 0710 hours, March 19th, 1945. 3 pages, 1 photograph, 1 object listed twice. The medal lay clipped to the corner. Patton read the first page without sitting, then the second, then the third. His thumb stopped on the photograph. He held it there for 5 seconds. The room stayed quiet. He placed the pages flat, smoothed the crease once with his palm, then looked up. A private killed an officer, took his medal, and wore it in formation. The aide said nothing. He stood beside the desk, hands behind his back. Patton didn't look at him. He picked up the iron cross between 2 fingers, turned it once. Get my driver. The aide hesitated for half a second. Sir, this can be handled at division level. Patton set the medal down. No. He didn't say more. The aide stepped out. At 0735 hours, the jeep started. No escort. No delay. They drove east for 12 miles. Mud covered the road. Artillery sounded far off. Columns moved aside as they passed. At 0812 hours, they reached the regimental post. Men outside turned first, then stepped back. Patton stepped out of the jeep. Combat uniform. 4 stars fixed to his helmet. Ivory-handled revolvers rested at his belt. Dust covered the leather. Nothing polished. No one spoke. Not the guards. Not the officers. Even the engines seemed quieter. Carter stood near the entrance. Reynolds behind him. Harding by the door. 3 officers. 3 ranks, all waiting. Patton didn't look at them. He walked past. Straight inside. Boots struck the wooden floor. 1 step at a time. Measured. The iron cross lay on the desk. Exactly where Harding left it. Black against paper. Patton stopped. Looked at it once. Then at the room. Bring the soldier. No one moved for a second. Then Carter turned. The guard went to fetch Mercer. Patton didn't sit. He didn't remove his gloves. He waited. The room held its breath. The door opened at 0819 hours. Mercer stepped in between 2 guards. His tunic buttoned. Nothing on it. Patton didn't look at him first. He looked at the desk, at the iron cross. He reached out, lifted it once, let it hang from his fingers. The ribbon didn't move. The metal stayed still. No one spoke. Patton set it back down. Then he looked at Mercer, head to boots. Then back to the eyes. You took this off a dead officer. Yes. Sir, you chose to wear it. Yes. Sir. Patton stepped closer by 1 pace. Not enough to touch. Enough to see everything. Why? Because I killed him. Mercer didn't blink. His hands stayed at his sides. The guard shifted once. Patton looked at the officers, then back at Mercer. He nodded once. You killed him. You took his medal. You put it on your chest. That's not victory. That's confusion. And confusion gets men killed. No one interrupted. Reynolds looked at the floor. Carter didn't move. Patton picked up the iron cross again, held it between thumb and finger, turned it once. This belongs to a German officer. You're not him, and you don't get to decide what his war means. Mercer stood still. His jaw tightened once. He said nothing. Patton took 1 step closer. Close enough now. Voice flat. You want a trophy. You take a weapon. You take a map. You take something that helps your unit. This does nothing. It tells your men you don't know the difference. The room stayed silent. Hayes stood near the wall. He didn't look away. Patton placed the medal back on the desk, exactly where it had been. Then he straightened, pin it to a board. No one moved. Patton didn't raise his voice. He didn't repeat himself. He just looked at Harding. A board of enemy decorations. In headquarters, every man who walks in sees it. Every man understands it. Harding nodded once. He stepped forward, picked up the medal. Mercer didn't speak. His shoulders stayed level. He watched the desk. Patton looked at him again. 1 second, then 2. Then he spoke. You did your job. You crossed a line. You won't cross it again. Mercer nodded once. Small movement. Nothing else. Patton turned away. Already done. Already finished. Reassign him. The words landed flat. No anger. No weight. Just fact. Out of this unit. Effective today. Harding wrote it down. Reynolds didn't speak. Carter looked at Mercer once. The guard stepped forward. Mercer turned. Walked to the door. The room stayed quiet. Boots on wood. Then gone. Patton didn't look back. He adjusted his gloves once. Then moved toward the exit. The iron cross was already in Harding's hand. The board would be built by noon. It would hang by 1400 hours. Patton stopped at the door. Didn't turn. Spoke once more. We don't wear the enemy. We bury him. Then he walked out. By 1200 hours. The board stood inside headquarters. 6 enemy decorations pinned in a straight line. The iron cross sat in the center. Men passed through all afternoon. Some slowed down. Some didn't stop walking. No one touched it. No one laughed. No one asked questions. By 1800 hours, Mercer was gone. Transferred 40 miles south to a different battalion. No record of punishment filed. The checkpoint reopened the same day. Papers checked. Weapons cleared. Movement controlled. Nothing stood out again. Years later, a military police corporal who was there said, "I checked 300 men that morning. I only remember one." Patton never mentioned it publicly. In his diary, he wrote only one line: "Discipline is knowing what not to take." The war kept moving. The front shifted east another 20 miles in 3 days. Men kept collecting things: weapons, helmets, maps, things that helped them survive, things that didn't. Some said Mercer earned the right to keep it. He killed the man. He took the risk. The medal meant something. Others saw it differently. A uniform carries more than cloth. It carries order. Patton chose one side. Not the easy one, not the obvious one. Would you have let him keep it or taken it away? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more stories about the thin line between discipline and survival, make sure to subscribe.